we start training from that point forward till they're about 2, and then we place them with either the child or the veteran at that point. Yeah, clear back in the green.
Are there any, like we saw them in the W and in Shield in the video, are
Yeah.
there places that the dogs can't go, or can they go pretty much anywhere?
About the only place they can't go is like a burn unit in a hospital, or places that have to be so sanitary it could cause others imminent danger. So other than that, they are allowed in every public place that a person is allowed, for practical speaking. So you can't come up with too many. The only couple that are weird or troublesome on the list are places that we think are public places, but they really aren't. So like a church can actually ask you to leave with a dog, because a church isn't technically a public place. Other than that, if it is a place that the public is allowed to go on a regular basis, the dogs are allowed to go. Okay, so why do you guys think that you got a little bit of a presentation on post-traumatic stress? Okay, so if you can imagine something that's happened in your life that was extremely difficult or hard to get through the day on the day it happened. Post-traumatic stress oftentimes takes you back to that day. Triggers cause that event to come back to the front of your mind, and you do fight or flight for that traumatic experience. So if it was a day that you were fighting for your life and something triggered that, like you guys can imagine walking down the sidewalk and seeing a pop can laying on the curb, and you'll just walk right by it, or maybe pick it up and put it in the trash can. But a veteran might walk by that pop can and literally go into a flashback or get way off the sidewalk, because so many times improvised explosive devices were hidden in things that looked like they were just pieces of garbage or something that was just normally going to be there that somebody left behind. It could be a Walmart bag on the side of a road. I've seen these guys and girls that have served in Iraq and Afghanistan swerve to the other road side so that they could get away from a garbage bag that had blown up on the shoulder, because it could have been an IED. So those things can instantly put you back into a fight or flight moment, and the dog's job is to react to anxiety. So if I was up here and I was starting to get nervous and things were not going the way I wanted them to, Traveler, come here. Now just sit. It's kind of hard when we got more than one, because they all want to help. But pause it. All I have to do is bring them over, and the idea behind this is really pretty simple. But I'd like you guys to think about why a dog helps. What reason is it that a dog brings you the benefit over maybe another person? Come here. Anybody got an idea? Why do you think the dog would help? Say. You want to guess?
Is it possible that a human could sometimes represent a threat, but a dog is going to...
Very possible. But let's say even like in today, right here, right now, why would Traveler say? Why would Traveler work with me over any other person in this room? Yeah. That's almost exactly right. So, and I don't want to embarrass my other speech partner up here, but let's just look at me and say if I would have came today in only my underwear, okay, you guys would be talking amongst yourselves constantly out there. You'd be saying, oh my gosh, look at him, what's he wearing, why is he in his underwear, what's he doing here? This dog and those two dogs absolutely wouldn't care, okay? That's how simple it is. They don't judge anybody. If I would come up here in a wheelchair, if I come up here with 2 prosthetic legs, same thing. The dogs are not going to judge me. And if it's something that I'm fighting so hard to get through on that post-traumatic stress, a lot of these guys even blame themselves for things that happened to other people that they were with over there. It might have been a buddy that ended up dying. It might have been a buddy that lost his legs. And this person that served in Afghanistan daily blames himself for that happening to his best friend. And the only person I can put with him is this dog, that sits there every day and doesn't judge him for his actions according to his buddy bruise in his legs. So even if we're not judging other people, even if we think that we aren't judging, the person that is going through the problem doesn't know that, because people do judge. So I cannot tell you who's sitting out there judging and who's sitting out there thinking this is awesome and who's sitting out there thinking I really don't care. But some of you guys are judging, and I know that. All right? I also know the traveler sitting up here not judging any of you. That's the whole principle behind how they work as an emotional support dog. Now, if we compound that, we add a bunch of different tasks to it. So our job is to get these guys wanting to get back out and do something again. You guys know how you feel like when you're depressed or having a bad day, or you're super tired, you stayed up late one night, you don't want to get up and get out of bed the next morning, you don't want to get going, you don't want to get your schoolwork started. I did a presentation about 3 or 4 weeks ago to 500 elementary kids. The oldest was 4th grade. And I brought a really big, thick hospital book that had every illness and disease in this book possible, and it really was this thick. And I walked up in front of the 400 kids or 300 some kids, and I said, who wants to come up and read out this book out loud today? Well, I got about 5 or 6 hands out of the whole audience. I mean, it was actually, they might have put a few more hands up than you guys did doing questions. So I can imagine if I'd asked for somebody to come up and read here today, I wouldn't have gotten any hands either. But when I had the child that did have his hand up come up and read, all I had in the book was, for reading today, I get to spend the rest of the time with the service dog on the stage. Then I asked the rest of them if they wanted to read. We had about 400 hands, because the rest of them wanted to come up and see the dogs. So that principle is what we have to take and move forward with the guys and the girls that are trying to get back to living again. So once we get through the anxiety levels, we haven't talked a lot about autism yet, but Traveler can pick up objects off the floor. So if I had a lower back injury, and Traveler, get your leash, get it. And I had him come to me, and then, I'm getting to the car, and I actually dropped the keys. You get the keys. Traveler can help get things picked up off the ground. Traveler can also help you if you have trouble getting out of a chair. He can help pick up prosthetics. Back up. And pull you up out of the chair. Sit. If you get down on the ground, sit. Let's say even if you're guarding or something. I keep losing my coat. Sit. Let's say you've fallen and you need somebody to help you get up, and you can sit. You can get to one knee. All right, come here. You can come over and brace for me. Here, hold this microphone. He'll put weight on his back legs and on his front legs, and I'll just use him to push up off the ground. And he's always available, 24 hours a day. Come here, Trevor. To be there if I need his help. He can turn light switches on, he can open doors, he can hit handicap accessible buttons. There's really nothing that he can't do to help me through some of my disabilities if I was suffering from those. He also can wake up people in a nightmare. He can hop up on the bed, he'll lick your face, he'll jump back down, he'll go turn the light switch on, he'll come back to the bed and make sure you're okay. So that's how we help get through some of those things with post-traumatic stress. Who wants to be a volunteer? Come right up, right there. We're going to show you a little bit how. So, the children with autism, a lot of them like to run. We're afraid of them going into dangerous situations. This is a tether, and this actually would clip to a vest that the child wears.